It was the dinner there, man. It should play upon a Bobby WAJ. And I'm coming back at you with another broadcast. I am going to allow YouTube to do what it is that YouTube does and send out those notifications. Let individuals know that I'm live, even though it's boop, 11:01 at night. I feel like this matter, not this issue, but this matter, this topic. I feel like it couldn't wait. Um, and this is going to be a pretty good broadcast. I feel like it's going to be a very informative, and it's going to be a very open-minded discussion. Jay Jeezy, what's the dinner there? What you doing up so late, man? I'm here to have a discussion, or I'm here to just share my opinion on interminority relationships with the black community and the Asian community. It's ironic. Johnny Robinson, what's the dinner there, man? It's my Baniana player partner, man. My Baniana player partner. You know, for some of you all who follows the content, you know, I just did a live yesterday. It initially started off about Munchie B and, you know, things that he currently has going on, and it transitioned into something else that pertained to the interminority relationships between the black community and the Asian community. Some people were on the fence. Some people feel like the Asians don't fuck with us. The Asians look at us in the same fashion that the Mexicans look at us. And I say, no, I disagree. And it's quite ironic that today somebody sent me some content. Well, a few minutes ago, somebody sent me some content that the brother over there, if you know, Big Cartoon 53, he did some content about the Asian community. So I just want to come on here and I want to continue the conversation. I feel like it's a conversation. Excuse me. I feel like it's a relevant topic and it's a conversation that needs to be had, especially as we move forward in trying to identify who's allies and who are opposers, who's our opposition outside of ourselves. But we're trying to remedy that now. We're trying to get to the bottom of why do we continue to target and victimize each other? What is the biggest components? Who's the culprit that has us continuously going after one another? And once we address that and we come together, now it's time to start identifying who's an ally and who's the opposition, who's our nemesis, who's our adversaries. You understand what I'm saying? We got to start having these conversations. It is absolutely important. There's big things coming for the African American. Never have there ever been a president that acknowledged us the way that Donald Trump has acknowledged us and told us that we are key contributors to the development of this nation called the United States of America. But without further ado, man, I want to share something. I think I'm gonna jump into it with sharing OG Cartoon. Shout out to OG Cartoon 5 Trey. It's just ironic. I really don't believe in coincidence, but it can be coincidental. It can be something that happens fortuitously. That I did a topic yesterday about black and Asians relationship, and he doubled back and did it today. Maybe it's something that happened fortuitously. Maybe it's coincidental. Maybe he's seen and he's like, you know what, this is a relevant topic. Let me cover it too. However it is what it is, and we're gonna get back into it. So let's start with Brother Cartoon's content and him sharing his perception and his perspective on the Asian community. Let me find that for you. Here it is right here. Let's get into it. No way, shape, form, or fashion does my views so far align with the views of Brother Cartoon. I'm not showing this content because I am in 100% agreement with Cartoon. I'm showing this content so we can continue the conversation. That's why. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not showing it to secondhand motion and saying that, hey, man, I totally agree with everything that he's saying. That's not why. I didn't finish all the video. I wanted to do some content on it. And so we're going to be watching a whole lot of this video together. So it's going to be, you know, our first time watching it in its entirety. But let's get into the content. This is OG Cartoon 5 Trey Gangsta Crib Avalons.
What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? Man, it's me, your big partner, Cartoon 5 3, back again. As y'all can tell from the title, I'm back on the BS. Back on the BS, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we talk about these folks right here, man, these Asians. They thought I forgot about them. They thought I forgot about them, or y'all might have thought I forgot about them, but oh no. No. Most
Where we going with this
definitely
cartoon?
cannot forget about them. For one, they are the original. No, they second. White folks was the first, but after them, these Asians, they were the original black folk haters. Oh yeah, yeah. See,
Pause. I didn't had a minor disagreement with OG Cartoon in the past. Shout out to Cartoon 5 Trey. The original disagreement that we had was when he came on here and he said that the younger blacks are afraid of Hispanics, Soreños, and that Hispanics is all about that, and we don't want to do none of that. We had a disagreement. Whether that statement was true or false, you don't come to the internet and say anything that can be considered disparaging, belittling, or demeaning to your people in the face of those who oppose your people. Whether it's true or false, I don't believe that is true, because I didn't walk some in the yards as well. And if it ever had written down, if it ever cracked, I was just as willing to put that, that kisu to work as those who opposed us. So I disagree with that. Not only was I willing, but my comrades, my peers that's been on these yards with me, we all was willing. We all walked around that mother sucker with kisus. We all was itching for something to crack off so we can get down with the get down and fuck around with the fuck around. You understand what I'm saying? So that was the first time me and Cartoon had a slight disagreement. And I'm not disagreeing with this brother for the sake of views, like, subscribers, none of that. I'm disagreeing with him because I'm talking about facts as they pertain to me and my family. The Asian community has always been a community that has employed African Americans. I talked to some of my OGs about it from yesterday. It was a continuation of the conversation off of the internet. I talked to a few of my OGs, and they say, "Oh man, the Asians was cool until we start robbing them. The Asians was like this, the Asians was like that. Oh man, the Asians was so on and so forth, and whoopty whoop whoop, and the Asians was a part of our community until we start robbing them." I say, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah, man, I had a friend named," and he started naming his friends. So I called my pops, because they referenced my pop. "Man, call your daddy, man. Your daddy used to work at the donut shop." So I called my daddy. I say, hey, daddy, that donut shop that you used to work at, that was the Asians donut shop?" He said, "Hell no, that was family." So I'm like, "Oh shit, my family owned," I'm thinking like, "Oh shit, my family owned the donut shop." He was like, "Yeah, man, I didn't look at him like that." He say, "Vaughn, I took him to LA. He wanted to be a boxer. I took him to LA, got him into boxing, and he started just reminiscing this amazing relationship that my father as well had with these Asian individuals." So I say, "Pops, like, what happened? What when did the blacks and the Asians begin to drift apart?" And you know what he said? "Niggas start robbing them." But let's get back into the content. So I know from having a slight disagreement with Cartoon before that he likes to use, and this is all out of love, Cartoon. Please don't take what I'm saying out of context. He like to say, "Well, I'm older than y'all. How y'all gonna tell me?" You feel what I'm saying? He like to say that, but I'm talking to G's that's a little bit older than you. I'm getting their stories. I'm hearing their narratives. I'm hearing them reminisce on how they had an amazing relationships with the Asians. Even if we go back, let's go back. I'm gonna pause this right here. Come on, bro. Go on with that bullshit. I'm gonna highlight what this dude said. And this is from a Hispanic dude. You see, the Hispanics have become like the Caucasian colonizers that comes in the midst and try to find unique and creative and subtle ways to create division. Rest in peace to Natasha Harlan. But just because those or that ignorant woman did that to that little sister, we can't generalize and say that all the Asians did it. They didn't have a congregation that came together and said, yeah, the next time a black come into our store and they look like they're going to steal, we're going to unalive them. That wasn't a collective effort. That was a woman taking her form of justice into her own hand and doing that to that little sister. So, you know what I mean? You got to be kind of mindful of the dog that brings you the bone. So this bone right here, it got cyanide on it, partner. See, what you're trying to do is create division, conflict, like your European parents, the Europeans that you all aspire to be like. That's what you're doing. You're trying to be what's the word that I'm looking for? You're trying to create confusion and conflict, bro. So without further ado, I'm gonna pause the cartoon thing and I'm gonna come right here, because we always had a relationship with the Asian community. Going back to when they was building the railroads, who you think was out there building the railroads with them? We were both subjugated and we were both under the rule of Caucasians that had us out there working from sun up to sundown. They had these big ass niggas out there helping to move these goddamn, these iron or whatever the train tracks is made out of, helping to move them. And then the Asians get down there and construct them and read the blueprint and curved it this way. And they knew how to build railroad systems because they was over there building them. So they came over here as, I guess you would say, almost like indentured servants. But let's get back into the content. I want to share this. Don't just take my word. Do your own research and investigations. What is the historical relationship between blacks and Asians? The relationship between black and Asian communities in the United States has a complex and nuanced history marked by both solidarity and conflict, shared experiences of discrimination. In the 19th and early 20th century, both communities faced significant racial violence and discrimination, particularly Asian Americans working as immigrant laborers. This shared experience often fosters solidarity and recognition of common struggles against oppression. For example, Frederick Douglass, a prominent abolitionist, spoke against the Chinese Exclusion Act in 1869. Look that up. Yuri Kochiyama, a Japanese American activist, was a friend and ally of Malcolm X. The Asian American civil rights movement drew inspiration from the Black Civil Rights Campaign of the 1960s. Instances of solidarity. Bear with me. Stay there with me. Bodung Conference, 1955. Representatives from the Asian and Africa, from Asian Africa met to discuss decolonization, signifying a shared interest in addressing issues of colonial oppression. Third World Liberation Front, late 1960s. Black and Asian activists formed this movement to advocate for the establishment of race and ethnic studies program in universities. Asians for Black Lives, 2014. This group formed to show solidarity with Black Lives Matter movement and combat anti-Blackness within Asian communities. Mutual aid efforts. In recent years, mutual aid initiatives have emerged with Black and Asian communities collaborating to support one another. Now, instances of conflict and tension. In 1992, Los Angeles riots. Following acquittal of police officers in the Rodney King beating, the riots highlighted simmering tensions, especially between Black and Korean American communities. The reason why we had tension between us is because the Korean woman, not all Asians, Korean woman, the Korean woman. So when you come on here to my broadcast and you want to talk, be specific about which Asian ethnic group are you talking about, and let's not make a generalization of all Asians. A Korean woman, as some of you may know, has shot little sister Natasha Harlan in the back after they got into an argument or something like that. She thought the little sister was stealing, and she shot her and unalived her. Boycotts and violence. Throughout history, there have been instances of boycotts of violence stemming from altercation between Black customers and Korean-owned stores, as seen in the late 20th century. Model minority myth. The concept, which portrays Asian Americans as ideal minority, has been used to create a wedge between Asians and Black communities contributing to racial tension and hindering solidarity. I want to share something else that speaks to that, and then we're going to go back to brothers cartoons content. But why is there division in between two communities that were close together? The white folks came there and did what they do to everybody, divide and conquer. They teach everybody to hate us, but they teach us to hate ourselves. So we kind of in a fucked up situation, no matter how you perceive it, how you look at it, how you view it. The Asian community began to get incentives from the United States government to say, you know what? This ain't the best relationship. I was just recently at a job. I was so effective at my job that the higher ups gave me a raise and they gave me a leadership position. The individuals, the cohorts that I had started with, when I got a raise in a leadership position, they started looking at me like, man, imagine we go back to these destitute communities where we co-inhabited, Watts, Compton, South Central, primarily Long Beach, and other areas and whatnot. When they began to give Asians money to purchase that corner store down the street, Blacks was looking like, what the fuck? Like, this crazy. Like, how they get a stove? When they begin to give Asians money to buy houses in the community, Blacks was looking like, what the fuck? How the fuck they get a stove? When the Asians began to progress and move up because they were being incentivized by the Caucasian people to turn their back against us and create division in between us, divide and conquer. I'm going to take care of this one and teach this one to hate that one so that this one can be subjugated to my ruling leadership. But I want to show this, man. I know a lot of people be thinking I'm crazy and thinking I just be talking and all this and all that. I'm going to give it to you from an Asian individual. Hold on. The white folks begin to create propaganda. Oh, blacks are this, blacks are that. And the propaganda that they was creating, we began to live up to it. And when we begin to go into their stores and steal out their stores and rob them and whatnot, that also contributed to the separation in between these two communities. We begin to victimize them. We didn't have any consideration to their business establishment, because a lot of us feel like that should have been my store. That should have been my house. How the fuck they come over here and now they got this and they get this and they get this and they get this preferential treatment from the white folks, not understanding that it was a tactic that was devised to put separation in between the Asian Americans and the Black Americans. But let me give it to you from one of their perspectives.
I say we as an Asian, like we heard about America and we learned that to survive in this country, we needed to align ourselves with whiteness and not blackness because we didn't want to catch that smoke, essentially. So we aligned ourselves with whiteness. And so proximity to whiteness keeps us, quote unquote, safer. But in doing that, they can be like, ha, model minority. If the Asians can do it, why can't you do it? And so we created a wedge as people of color against other people of color.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And then like the riots in LA, the wedge theory came in crazy because professionals from Asia came, but they're not allowed to be doctors here. But they can get a loan because they're proximity to whiteness. But they can only get a loan in Black neighborhoods, where Black people couldn't get loans. And so there's that automatic tension.
Somebody in the comments says, but Asians ride the coattail of the civil rights and benefits as well from what Black people fought, bled for, but don't support. Some Asians do support. I don't want to generalize and say that all Asians have this negative perception of us and all Asians feel a certain type of way about us, because there was one point in time to where we had an amazing relationship with the Asian community. Now, if we want to be specific and talking about specific Asian ethnic groups or nationalities, the Koreans, they start acting indifferent towards Black folks. The Chinese, who are supposed to be looked at as the Germans or the Russians or the Slavic people of Asians, the upper echelons of the Asians, you know, they had a time to where they kind of like looked down on Blacks as well. But there's more Asian ethnic groups in Asia. What about the Cambodians that we had an amazing relationship with? The peoples from Laos, the people from Thailand, the peoples from the Philippines, and these ethnic groups are also discriminated against upon these Asian ethnic groups is also discriminated against by their Asian counterparts, the Chinese, the Koreans, and the Japanese. They look down on the ones from the islands and the ones who are a little darker. But without further ado, let's get back into cartoons perception of inner minority relationships with the Asian community. And I think his title was a little, you know what I mean? Hold up, Hop Sing and Ling Ling. Y'all thought y'all got away. That's a little racist, big dog. I mean, but hey, it's his content.
Back in the day when I was young, I didn't have problems from the Mexicans. No, didn't have no problems out the Mexicans. I'm talking about back in the all through the 70s and stuff like that. No, we didn't have no problems out them. Of course, it wasn't as many of them in LA as it is now, but the few that was there, we didn't have no problems out there. We had problems out the Asians.
Okay. That may be true for him and his generation, but the damage had already been done. Black people had already started to vandalize their stores, steal from them, rob them. So they created this distrust. He's going to reference something. I'm going to wait for him to reference it. But it also depends on the geographical location that you was at, because in Long Beach, they were still thriving and surviving with one another. Blacks in the Asian community was hip tight around the 70s out there in Long Beach. I'm going to read a few comments. Johnny Big Tom Johnson says, us blacks and the Asians had to stick together to deal with these Mexicans over time. Man, Johnny, man, I got major love for you, big homie, on the Renner Nails. Big Dog Johnny says, Vietnamese, homies. Yeah, the Vietnamese, they was fucking with us at one point in time too. And like I said in the broadcast yesterday, I don't want to sound like a broken clock. You get what I'm saying? But one of the things that they use to divide the Asians and the blacks was giving them access to resources that we couldn't have access to. That created division in between us too, creating a system to where the Asians got preferential treatment versus the blacks. And the Asian sister just, confirmed that when she was just talking what she was talking about. Johnny Robinson says, my personal experience, the Asians only fuck with us for the money. They think money is like liquid to us. It runs through our hands like water. OFC. They would act like they like us to get us to spend. Shit. When I was out there pushing that thin enough that I used to, that I pushed, it was certain people that I had to pretend like I liked in order for them to come and spend money with me. It's called being courteous. It's called good business etiquette. So we can't get mad at them for pretending to be our friends. Yeah, okay. We can't get mad at that. That's how the game works. Nobody want to go spend their money with somebody that's going to treat them uncivilly. Anybody that's going to meet them with anything other than the proper civility that a customer is entitled to. You feel what I'm saying? So I understand them pretending to be nice and all this and all that. But from my experience as well, brother Johnny Robinson, when I go to these swap meets, an Asian, they give me a discount before a Mexican. An Asian will give me a discount before an Armenian. It'd be the Asians that be willing to wheel and deal and, show a little bit more love on prices, so on and so forth. You feel what I'm saying? It's the Asians, not the Hispanics. But all of our relationships may slightly be different, depending on who you are, where you come from, and what era you was raised in. Let's get back into the content. I'm going to read a few more comments. Much love. Thank everybody that joined the broadcast.
Yeah. They was the original black folk haters before the Mexicans rose up and started shaking their tail feathers. Yeah, it was them, man. Look, check this out. Go back to all the movies.
And I say this, right? I feel like this is pertinent. This is important. Everybody has turned their back on us. The only ethnic group, the only group of people that has not turned their back on us and still can be considered allies is the Samoans. I can't say the Polynesians because now the Tongans are in a situation, in a position to where they're saying, we're not black. Don't you say too black to me. That's how they feel about us, the Tongans. But yet you got the Tongan gangster Crips, and you got Tongans that's part of, you know, different various Inglewood sects and so on and so forth. But the Samoans is the ethnic group that's still fucking with it. The Samoans is the individuals that still rocking with us and still got our backs and ain't switched up just yet. But I feel like within the next 10 years, if we don't get our shit together, the Samoans is going to jump on the same bandwagon as the Tongans, the Southeast Asians, the Northern Asians. They going to jump on that same bandwagon because we underachieving. We beat each other. We unalive each other. We victimize each other. We brutalize each other. That ain't how they was raised up. When the Tongans and the Samoans came over here, we picked on them. We victimized them. But the thing is, they as close to niggas as anybody else. They resisted. They was big body mass. Oh no, we gonna fight. And they start fighting niggas, and they got accepted into the community. And they begin to conform to the gangbanging subculture. And what did that do to the Asian? Excuse me. What did that do to the Tongans and the Samoans? It put division in between their community. So now their community is doing what their elders told them not to do. They doing all the shit that we do to one another, and we get mad at the Asians because certain Asian groups, certain Asian ethnic groups don't want their kids to intermingle with us because we unalive each other, we brutalize each other, we victimize each other, we target each other. And back over there in Asia, they wasn't raised like that in their cities, their communities, and their villages. Why would you want your kids to conform to something that's counterproductive to the people who are practicing these counterproductive practices on one another? Make that make sense. You want the best for your kids. But let's get back into the content.
That you can remember growing up when blacks were dealing with the Asians. Now I'm gonna say Asians, but when I say Asians, I'm talking about I really just want to say Chinese, but you know, I'll wrap all of them into one group.
You can't do that.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like when the dude said about
you can't do that. You can't do that because you still have Asian communities out there that don't feel like how the majority of the Chinese feel. They don't feel like how majority of the Japanese and the Korean community feel. The Laos, the Vietnamese, the Cambodians, the Filipinos, people coming from Thailand that really genuinely fuck with us and rock with us and got our backs to a degree. So you can't make these broad generalizations of a specific group of people that's asinine, is frivolous, and that's counterproductive. We can't do that. How do you feel when they make generalizations of all blacks? Oh, all blacks are this, that, and third. That shit is not cool, and it has never worked. It has never worked. Throughout the history of time, broad generalizations is a depiction of and it shows the level of ignorance that the person who makes the statement has. We can't make these broad generalizations about all Asians because all Asians don't feel the same about blacks. All Asians don't feel the same way about each other. Even amongst their communities, it's still discrimination, racism, and prejudices amongst them. But all this shit stems from who? The white colonizers. But let's get back into content. I just disagree with you on that one, Big Tune, because that ain't right. I can't tell you what's right, what's wrong. You grown. This is your content, so on and so forth. I'm just giving you my perspective, cuz on crap.
Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela, Chile, and all. I told him, man, you can put all the names on it you want to put. Everything, all that ain't up but a bunch of Mexicans does.
Damn.
You know?
No, that's not true.
Same thing with these.
Hold on, pause, cuz. I don't support that. You can't say Guatemalan, Chileans, everything else that you just named to us is nothing but a lot of Mexicans. That's not true. Because you even have Mexicans that look down on the Guatemalans, the Hondurans, the Belizeans, the Costa Ricans, and Mexicans look down on them as if they're second-class citizens. Mexicans don't even really rock with them. So you get those few Hondurans and Guatemalans that come over here and they fuck with us. Not all of them conform to the ways of some of these prejudiced Mexicans. So we can't group them all into one group because all of them don't look at blacks the same. So we're gonna jump back into the content. I just wanted to share that, like, you feel me?
Asians. They got 50 million different Asians, Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese, South Korea, North Korea, all of all these different people. We don't know nothing about all that. I'm gonna say out my mouth what other people won't say out their mouth. We don't know nothing about all them.
You can't say we. You cannot say we, because a lot of these ethnic groups that you name that's identified and classified as Asians, a lot of them don't even get along. A lot of them has been in civil wars for decades and decades. So don't make these broad generalizations, and don't say you're speaking for us. You're speaking for you as an individual, because some of us can make the distinctions in between these different Asian ethnic groups and so on and so forth. So don't make a broad generalization about all Asians, and please don't make it seem like as if you're representing all of our opinions, all of our thoughts, and all of our perceptions of Asians. Don't do that. You're speaking for you and you as an individual. Let's get back into the content. And I say this shit respectfully.
Different countries and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because to us, all y'all look the same.
No, the fuck.
Just like people say, man, all black people look the same.
No, the fuck we don't.
All Asians look the same.
No. I got a whole. I'm sorry. I gotta stop. Cuz there, he's a Crip. I can cousin. You can't speak for all of us, big homie. You can only speak for you and your experience and your interpretation and your understanding of these people. You can't make these broad generalizations, and you can't say us referring to all blacks. No, that's a fallacy, and I'm not standing on that, and I totally disagree with that, and I'm against that shit. I oppose that shit that you just said right here, right now. Like, you feel me? But let's run the content.
Just wrap all of them up under the banner of Chinese. Oh man, them Chinese.
No, we don't do that, cuz.
They might not be Chinese, but that's what we gonna say.
That ain't what we say.
Everything that look like them, we just call it Chinese to us. No, you know, no disrespect, but we just call it Chinese. As fuck. That's just we simple people. Y'all.
No. We ain't that goddamn simple. It's shit. It ain't nothing simple about me except my conversations with simple motherfuckers. That's the only thing simple about me. I am a quite complex, perplexing individual. But I don't agree with that. A Filipino don't look shit like a Chinese, Japanese, or Korean. Now I can understand if you say Japanese, Koreans, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese, they look alike. They look real similar. You can mistake those three. But a Filipino, a person from Cambodia, a person from Saipan, a person even from Taiwan and Thailand, they don't look shit like Japanese, Chinese, and Koreans. And that's what I'm gonna say. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So I don't support that. Speak for yourself when you speak that level of ignorance. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not saying ignorance as if you are stupid. That's not what I'm saying. But let's get back into the content.
I know we simple people like that, you know. So anyway, you think back to all the movies that when you see a perfect example, Menace to Society. When O-Dog and the other dude walked up in there, what happened? They watching him like a hoe.
Why was they watching?
Then got to mumble up under their breath.
Why was they watching O-Dog and Kane, two black males, when they walked in the store? Why were they watching them? Because blacks had become notorious for going in their stores and taking whatever the fuck they wanted to take and walk and schmooze the fuck about their business establishment. Blacks had become notorious for putting a pistol in their face and making them empty out their pockets. We were coming from a lot of inequalities. We were coming from a place to where we really didn't have shit. The good warehouse jobs, the jobs at Lockheed and Northrop Grumman, whatever it's called, when they had our people working on these hypersonic airplanes or whatever they call these military aircrafts, and working for Boeing and working at the different factories that they had placed throughout Los Angeles, and then they took all the jobs, creating poverty. And here comes the Asians just open up a store. I gotta feed my kids. I'm not robbing you because you're Asian. I'm robbing you because it's self-preservation. I need this to feed my babies. Or a lot of peoples around that time was getting down with that dog food. You know what I'm talking about? Man, I got an addiction. I'm sorry, this monkey on my back. And right now, you easy pickings. Forgive me. We have begun to target those people. Those people then just off top just come over here or wake up like the Hispanics did. The Hispanics did. They just woke up and said, hey, dog, what's up? Hey, Hector, hey, fuck my yates, dog. We're not fucking with my yates today, homie. The Hispanics did that. The Asians ain't do that. Even though that it was propaganda that the United States government was giving to the Asian people when they began to come over here. And it was already a handful of Asians that was already over here that we had harmonious relationships with. And this is the truth. But let's get back into the content. I'm going to say this. Hold on. My principal, Andrew Manley, Vietnam veteran. He told us a story of how he was caught by the Viet Congs, the Vietnamese people, right? He had got caught by them. They beat his partners. They beat the dudes that was caught with him, the white guys. They beat them within inches of their lives. They tortured them. They effed them over. But him, when they interrogated him, he didn't want to give up any information. So they took a drill bit and they drilled into his knees. But them other ones, they killed. They let him live. And they gave him a message. Why is the black people over here? Don't the white people mistreat you? Don't the white people treat you bad? This is coming from Andrew Manley, a Vietnam veteran who became our principal at Nuance Technical Academy. He survived. The rest of the people in his company that became prisoners of war, they killed them. They didn't like the hate. They didn't like the white man. They hated the white man, but they had compassion for the black man. They just didn't know why the black man were being oppressed here in the States and coming over there to unalive them with the white man who was treating them bad in the States. They couldn't understand that shit. But Andrew Manley made it home. So it got to be a certain level of compassion, understanding, and sympathy from these people. Let's get back into the content.
That's the type of treatment, man, black folks been going through for 100 years or more dealing with these Asians, man.
That's not true.
In California or the United States, period.
That's not true. In communities like Mississippi, well, in states like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, you got Asians out there to talk just like them, the goddamn motherfucking country folk down in the motherfucking bayou. And they'll cut your motherfucking ass out just like a motherfucking nigga would. And they don't play no games, and they got a whole lot of motherfucking nigga tendencies. They been a part of our communities, especially after they got through building the railroads and slavery was abolished. And then the influx of the other ones that came that the United States of America put into these concentration camps and put in certain projects around America. We've been having a relationship with these people, so you can't say for the last 100 years it's been turmoil in between our communities. No. When the white folks seen that we had a good relationship, then they came with the bullshit. They threw a monkey wrench in the game. But let's get back into the content.
They don't trust us. They think we the scum of the earth. They watch us like a whole. Man, all my life as a young kid growing up, every time I walk.
I wanna rebuttal that. He said they don't trust us and they treat us like we're the scum of the earth. I'm not gonna say I agree that we're the scum of the earth, but we are at the bottom of the totem pole. Anything of significance that we do, we create. Anything of value, they replicate it, they imitate it, they emulate it. Am I lying? When we was breakdancing, pop locking, and all this shit, did they kids not emulate, replicate, and imitate it? Did they not take it back to their mother countries in Japan, in China, in Korea, in other Asian communities or other Asian nations? Pop locking is considered a sport. It's something that they do. It's a part of their culture. They pop lock. They have these these competitions to where even people from Russia go to these different Asian countries and they have these pop locking competitions. They have these breakdance competitions and whatnot. We're not producing anything of value for them to replicate. when we were fighting for our peace, when we were being unalive for our peace, when they were sicking dogs on us for our peace, our civil rights and our human rights, did they not emulate, replicate, and imitate our walk? When we were doing the civil rights protests and so on and so forth, did they not form their protesters and so on and so forth after what we was doing? Let's get back into the content.
Walked into an establishment that was owned by some Chinese people, Asians, whatever. They followed me through the store. They watched me, had nasty stuff to say. Get out. You pay now. What?
Thank you for your interest in conducting an admissions flight with ATP, the most respected name in pilot certification. Your admissions flight is the first step towards reaching your goals. It will provide you with the opportunity to experience the joys of flying from behind the controls and see the level of professional flight training at ATP firsthand. For admissions flight,
you no looking no more. No more look for you. You pay now. You pay now. You buy. You go. You buy. All you black people do is steal. Y'all steal. Black people steal. Man, what? Yeah, okay. Now I ain't gonna even lie. That why back in the day, I was robbing them fools. Because I know they didn't like us. Man, y'all heard me tell y'all a story about when you newer people to the foundation. Y'all probably don't remember.
Brother Freedom Boulevard said, let's not forget they deconstruction everything they come into contact with and replicate. Brother Freedom Boulevard says white people also emulated us in protest. So what is your point? Also Mexicans. Everybody emulate what we do when we do things of value. That's what my point is. The Asians feel a certain type of way about us because we're not producing anything of substance, anything of value. If we were producing things of substance and value, they would jump on board and our relationship would be different. But yet we brutalize, we target, we victimize, and we go after one another. Why would they want to be a part of that? Why would they want to replicate that? Why would they want to join that? Why would they want to have anything to do with that? That's what I'm saying. But let's get back into the content. I just wanted to answer that real quick.
But I told the story about how I went into the little Chinese store, whatever they are, and had one right there on 51st back in the day. Mexicans that took it from them now. But it was a dairy that was owned by Chinese people for many moons. And this is right here in the middle of the set, right on 51st and Avalon. Man, every time we go up in there, it's problems. Now, I made it a game. I would go out my way to go up in there and make them follow me. I cut my eyes at them certain type of way, act like I'm putting something in my shirt.
Pause, Big Tone. I want to answer this question for this brother that has a question. My bad. I didn't mean to share yours on Frank Nitty. I wanted to share this brother Freedom Boulevard. Yes, so you agree that they don't mess with us then. Some of them do, some of us don't. Some of them do, some of them don't. Shit, most of us don't even mess with us. Some of us do, some of us don't. It's about your geographical location. When you go to the Bay, the Asians and the brothers have an amazing relationship. But here in LA and various parts of the country, it's all about where you at. And it's all about what Asian ethnic group are you talking about? The Cambodians, they fuck with us. The Filipinos, they fuck with us. The people from Thailand, the Thai people, they fuck with us. The people from Saipan, they fuck with us. The Vietnam people, to a degree, they fuck with us as well. So some of them fuck with us and some of them look down on us because we're not producing anything of value. If you got a leader among you and your leader is out there doing everything that's counterproductive, you're going to look at him like, what the fuck? Man, you need to get your shit together. Some of them fuck with us, some of them don't. I don't get into broad generalizations. You feel what I'm saying? But let's run back into the content. I'm about to get into some comments in a minute. Y'all forgive me.
They follow behind me like a big dog. They hated me. They seen me coming. This what I do. This what I would do. Man, I go up in there. Man, I just go to grabbing stuff and put about $200-300 worth of stuff on the counter. And then when they add it up, they be looking at me crazy too. They add it up. Then I walk out the store. I was like, I don't want it, and leave it all on the counter. Yeah, man, about that, man. They tripping on us like that. They trapped me in the store one day and pulled some samurai swords on me. Wow! I'm talking about, man, hey, I'm glad it was in the set. And the homies peeped it, man. They had to come kick the whole door down, man. The glass. Man, let my homie up out of here. Fools tripping. They come at me. We no like you. We no like you. I'm like, fool, I know like you.
This motherfucker
You know?
crazy.
But anyway, we've been having that problem out of them forever, man. They have never trusted us. They have never liked us.
Never.
None of that.
That's not true.
And see, this is my thing. Now you're gonna have a fool on here that's gonna swear up and down. What I'm saying is all of a sudden it's racist. Oh, Toon, you spreading hate. It's just racist. Man, I'm spreading the gosh darn truth.
Partial
I'm gonna
truth.
tell you like I tell everybody else. If I'm saying something out my mouth that ain't true, let me know and I'll shut up.
If you have a 700 plus credit score, you qualify for Chase's new program where you could access up to 150.
But everything I'm saying is true.
Partially.
Them Asian folks don't like us, man. They are systematically told growing up, don't have nothing to do with us, period. Don't talk to us. Don't mingle with us. We're nasty. We're bad people. We can't be trusted.
But what have we did to dispel that narrative that the Caucasians give to them? You just reinforce the stereotypes of a typical black person in the hood targeting Asians. You just reinforce that. What have we done to dispel that narrative that we can't be trusted? We're lazy, we're this, we're that, so on and so forth. What have we done to dispel that narrative? A lot of us play into that narrative. A lot of us really support these narratives, and it furthers the stereotype and how people perceive us from a negative standpoint. All Asians is not against us. And that's evidenced by the business relationships that we do with them. Some of the Asians that I just deal with on a day-to-day basis and I come in contact with, they don't treat me like the Mexicans treat me. Now the Mexicans, oh man, that's a whole nother story and a whole nother situation. The relationships between us and a person that's coming from China, Japan, Korea, and mostly them, right? When they come over here, it's number one, it's a language barrier, and number two is propaganda and it's indoctrinations that went into these people for them to believe that we are everything that cartoon just reinforced and said, through his actions that we are. But let's get back into the content.
We curse too much. We drink too much. We too loud. Stay away from them. So now you got little Suki Lin and Ling Ling and Ping Ping.
This thing is
they
crazy.
coming to school looking at us different now, like, huh? And the whole time it be, well, my mama told me, my parents told me, my grandparents told me that black people got tails. To what? Yeah, black people got tails. Oh man, all type of silly, dumb stuff, man. So like I said, yeah, I keyed in on the Mexicans for a minute, but now no. They can't. No, they don't get away. They don't get away because they was hating on us way before the Mexicans was hating on us. Right, man. Y'all check this little bit out right here, man. Check this out.
Stores when I was growing up. That's not the most fun trip down memory lane, but I always like to be honest about acknowledging anti-blackness among Asian Americans, especially when the call was coming from my own house. So here we go. I first became aware of my mom's anti-Blackness when I started kindergarten, and it mostly centered around avoiding interactions with Black people and not allowing me to be exposed to anything that she considered Black culture. So if we were walking and she saw a Black person, she would pull me closer to her. If we were in the car in a parking lot and saw a Black person in the parking lot, she would make a point to lock the doors. And I wasn't allowed to listen to rap or Michael Jackson or Tina Turner. And she was hypocritical about that because I wasn't allowed to listen to Cyndi Lauper or Madonna either. She would call it trash music and say that it was going to be a bad influence. But if it was a white artist, it was not racialized. It was only when it was Black
Madonna's
artists that it was
hold
racialized.
the fuck up, man. I detect some bullshit in what she just said because Madonna is white. But you're saying that you couldn't listen to this music, but in the same sentence, you say that your mother allowed you to listen to white music because it was deemed, whatever you just said that it was deemed, but Madonna's white. And then my question is, how many generations had your parents been over here? Are you second generation and your parents is first generation? Because the first generation, she looked like she may be either Korean, Chinese, or Japanese. They always come over here with a certain perception of us because of the indoctrinations that they are given as they applying for visas, passports, and admission over here. But let's get back into the content.
And another thing that I think is kind of typical is as a musician, there were a lot of Black artists whom she respected and enjoyed, but she would always say that one Black artist is the exception, the rest are bad influences. If I came home and said I made a friend, her first question would be white or Black. And that drove me nuts because in preschool, I dealt with a lot of bullying and discrimination because of being Asian. So it didn't make sense to me that she wanted me to turn around and do that very same thing to my Black classmates whom she knew nothing about on the basis of their skin color. And when I wouldn't stay away from my Black friends, she would resort to making up justifications as to why it was harmful for me. She would say they're going to hurt me and they're going to be a bad influence because they fight and they swear and they're not good students. And of course, none of that was true. And in my household, it was not physically or emotionally safe to voice your opinions, but about that I would, because it literally angered me. And then she would resort to physical violence. And that.
Now y'all heard her. Y'all heard her. Y'all heard her now. Of course y'all heard her. She's just telling the truth, man. She's just telling the truth.
Well, how about we start talking about the truth and talk about our contributions, our negative contributions to the Asian community that reinforce certain stereotypes that they were receiving. And like I say, she's either she's either Korean, Chinese, or Japanese. We can't make a broad generalization of all Asians because the Cambodians fuck with us, the people from Thailand fuck with us, the Filipinos fuck with us. We still have an active relationship with these individuals, and I guarantee if we can interview this woman, she'll say that her family also told her not to fuck with the Cambodians, not to fuck with the Taiwanese, not to fuck with the Thai people, not to fuck with the peoples from Saipan, not to fuck with the peoples from the Philippines. I mean, if we can interview this woman, you feel what I'm saying? I just don't get down with the broad generalization saying that all Asians hate Blacks. That's some bullshit. But let's get back into the content, and I'm gonna come back and read some comments.
She is just telling the truth, Maya. I don't have to look for this stuff. None of that. You can just turn on YouTube and just type in search stuff, and there it is, Mike. But you're not gonna be able to go to YouTube like that and just find where Black folks just racially just hate on other people. No, you can go to YouTube and find out where all these other people racially hate on us. But you're not gonna find out where we hate. For one, what people don't realize, we don't have time for that. We don't care nothing about that. To each his own. We too busy setting records. You know what I'm saying? Breaking records, setting standards. We too busy becoming the icons of the world. We too busy making everybody around the world watch us, envy us, get jealous of us, and want to be like us. Because that's what we do, because we got too much swag, we got too much soul, and our spirit is too divine, y'all. We are God's chosen people, man. Point blank. We really, really are. A lot of y'all get caught up on the demographics that in the Bible, that when it tells you Israel, the Israelites. You know, like where Israel is today, that's where everything gonna go down at. Now, God, he was talking about the Israelites as people and this, that, and other. But what he was talking about was us, them tribes, man, them tribes. Not all the people that's in Israel huddled up behind them walls and stuff. No, he was talking about us, the scattered tribes, us, man. But that's another story. Yeah, man, I'm gonna let you hear what the little youngster has to say, man. I'm gonna let you hear what this youngster has to say. And you know, it's always the young people. You ain't gonna hear, especially when it comes to the Chinese, these Asian people. You're not gonna hear the older ones get on there and tell the truth. No, it's always the young kids with the progressive minds who've been over here in America and they starting to change. They starting to get culturally integrated with everybody else around them. And they realize, hey, well, grandma.
But that's the same thing with every culture. That's the same thing with our culture as well. Certain philosophies, certain sayings, and certain teachings that our grandparents and their parents had, we do away with them. They become obsolete, and we start to venture out and learn different things and explore different areas and whatnot. You feel what I'm saying? It was certain ways of existing that our grandparents governed themselves under that we don't. So every generation get weaker but wiser. Every generation becomes progressively better, with the exception of our people. But we want to blame the Asians for not want to rock with us, because when they look at our communities, our fucking communities is in shambles. When they come into our communities and they see how we treat each other, who the fuck want to listen to rap music? And it's us, black men, saying fuck the black woman, and we're misleading the black child. What other ethnicity, what other nation does that but us? So we can't blame them for teaching their kids, don't listen to that type of fucking music. Now you got blacks telling their kids, don't listen to that bullshit around me. Some of y'all know, especially coming up in the 80s, you 80s and 90s babies and all that, our parents ain't really let motherfuckers just blast that rap shit. Excuse me, I don't want to call it shit, but blast certain rap music. Like, no, they didn't like it. They didn't like the message. Everything is bitch, hoe, fuck a bitch, don't trust a hoe, kill a nigga, do this. Like, come on, man, that's a derogatory message. And when they kids begin to emulate what we do and take it back into their communities, then their communities start underachieving. Their communities start looking close to how our communities look. So you can't blame them for telling their kids don't go down the street and play with little Tyrone. Because the shit that little Tyrone is going to teach you and expose you to may be irreversible. I may not be able to help you get rid of that drug addiction. I may not be able to help you reverse the effects of gang banging, cripping in blood, and so on and so forth. So what we're going to do, we're going to use prevention before we have to use intervention. We're going to give you education. Don't do that. We own stores. We're successful people. We're living the fake ass American dream. We have acquired wealth. Why would you want to go to Watts, Compton, and South Central and behave in a manner of black peoples when they don't even know how to treat themselves? When they subjugate their women, when they pimp out their women, when they're continuously going from this house to this house, creating broken households. And I'm not being against my people. This is me calling a ball, a strike a strike. What did we contribute to their perception or the reinforced stereotypes and beliefs that they have on us? It ain't like we're model citizens and our communities are thriving and we're doctors, lawyers, and we're producing some of the best people in America, and they still have this negative perception of us. Come on, homie, you from Avalon Gangster Crip, you from South Central. You know how we treat one another. Watch this. The way shit go down over there in the Fire Trey Avalons, right? Do you want your grandkids to go over there and get in with the Fire Trays or the folk trades or the PJs or the Pueblos or the Fadus Broadways? Do you want your grandkid to go into these communities and start gang banging and replicating and imitating what it was that we were doing in our communities? Or would you be cool with that? And if your answer is a resounding no, you can't get mad at them for not wanting their kids to become a part of that shit. Now let's get back into the content.
What grandma said wasn't right. Ain't nothing wrong with these black folks. They cool as a fan. Yeah, man. You know. But now I'm gonna let you hear what the little young kid, the little boy right here, got to say, man.
You know, all right, about to get into Asians and racism and how that ties into blacks. Let's get into it.
Asians are really racist. I know there has been a lot of Asian hate crimes, and maybe this is not a good time to talk about it, but Asians are very racist, especially traditional Asians, parents, grandparents. They're really racist. I know in Korea as well, white people are treated better than black people.
I told you about the Japanese, Chinese, and Koreans.
White people are treated better than black people.
There it is there, man.
Well, the rest
I ain't got to do a whole lot of rebuttal on it. It's self-explanatory. It's self-explanatory, black people. Listen, y'all. I'm finna be the voice of reason for my folks. I'm finna turn the volume up. Yes, I am. I'm finna turn the volume up, man.
Okay. OG Cartoon 5'3" is going to turn the volume up. Okay, that's his prerogative. That's well within his right to do so, right? But how about we turn the volume up on using our influence to go back into our communities and saying, listen, homie, peace is of the utmost importance. We need to work out some type of peace treaty, peace agreement, and come together. Boom. Then once we come together, then we can identify who our allies potentially may be and who our adversaries are. Because turning it up and creating, I'm going to stay away from that one. Just right now, I'm going to stay away from that one. But it's other things that we can turn it up on. We can turn it up on pushing peace to our people. We can turn it up on pushing entrepreneurship to our babies. We could turn it up on teaching our kids, indoctrinating our kids with the proper indoctrinations that us unaliving each other is not cool. Teaching our kids that it's not cool, it's not fly, it's no longer socially acceptable for us to consider our women to be bitches, hoes, and all this old other negative ass shit that we associate with our women. Let's turn it up on us treating each other better. You an OG from your set, cuz. And from what I was hearing, Sinbad say, you know what I mean? You may have family from the folk trade, or you may have some point in time had a good relationship with the folk trades. How do we leverage those relationships, cuz, to get our little homies and some of our homies that stuck on stupid to put the fucking guns down, cuz, and start making situations better for our community? That's what we really should be pushing. Yeah, we should address inner minority racism, inner minority relationships, and all this and all that. But we have to be strategic and mindful on how we address these situations. You know, when I end a lot of my broadcasts, right, this is what I say. We all we need, we all we got. And that's the truth. We don't have no friends because everybody has fallen prey and become a victim to the indoctrinations of the Caucasians, even us. So we can't really blame the Asians. We can't really blame the Mexicans and all these other nationalities and ethnic groups for feeling a certain type of way about us, because they've been indoctrinated to hate us the same way that the same people indoctrinated us to hate ourselves. The indoctrination is effective. It's real. But how do we counter the narrative? Let's get back into the content.
Somebody reach out to that boy Tariq Nasheed and send him some of my videos, man. Tell him I said, man, me and him need to collaborate on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Send it to Tariq Nasheed for me. Tell him I say I shout out, man. He one of my favorite YouTubers. But anyway, I was gonna go on to say, y'all heard what the little youngster say, man. It don't make no sense. But you know what though? We don't trip on it. We not worried about it. Man, we as black people in this country, man, we have persevered every type of injustice that can be thrown to us, man. Every type of injustice that can be thrown our way, man, we have stood the test of time, homie. We are the end all and be all. And I'm talking about us black folks over here. Because them black folks over there, they don't like us neither.
Come on, Tony.
What are we to do? Ah, man.
Come on.
What this little brother right here got to say.
Now, the crazy thing is, he's Korean, and I had a white friend that was in China, and he specifically told me that in China, they actually glorify white people. Like, they love white people. Like, it's almost like they sexualize them. Like, they're like gods to them. And this is a white male. He lived there for 4 years. He said, but the blacks, they treat like crap. So, yeah, he has some, there's
why you ain't played all the way? Why you ain't played more of a tune, cuz?
That's real quick. But anyway, man, let me get up out of here. Y'all know I'm gonna do a correct follow-up. I'm gonna do a correct follow-up, man. At the end of the day, y'all, it's coming. It's coming. And like the brothers used to say back in the 60s, the revolution will not be televised. But the cold part about it, it will be televised. It will be televised.
How so?
It's coming. Man, if you ain't ready, get ready. If you ain't ready, get ready, man. Don't continue to keep going through life with your head up in the stars. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. We don't have any problems. You know. Don't keep doing that. I got a good job. I'm secure. Got 2 cars. I got a house with a wife. I'm secure. Man, partner, that's a dream. Everything I just said can be snatched from you in the blink of an eye. So y'all play with it if you want to, man. Play with it if you want to, man. I keep telling you, get ready. Because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, man. But anyway, in the meantime, between time, homie, I represent the gangsters. The Mavalon gangsters. I'm out. Peace.
There it is there. Hold on, let's jump into some of these comments. You know, he's talking about the Asians, this, that, and third, but you know what I mean? If we want to be transparent and be honest, like let's start putting some honesty out there, right? I'm not saying that everything that the brother was saying was fallacious or wrong or misleading and none of that. He had a couple of truths up in there, but hold on, I want to show you this. This is how deep our history and our story runs. The term Black Indigenous Asians generally refers to people of mixed African and Asian ancestry, often with roots in indigenous communities of Asia, or to indigenous people in Asia with dark skin tones. These populations include various groups like Afro-Asians, Cities, Negritos, and others found across the continent. Let's see if we can get some images of the original peoples of the Philippines, the original people of Cambodia, the original people of Saipan, even the original people of Hawaii. The original inhabitants of Southeast Asia are these amazing individuals right here. And a lot of the people coming from the Philippines, a lot of the people's coming from Thailand, a lot of the people coming from Saipan, a lot of the people's coming from I don't really want to say Guam, but you could put the Guam people in there as well. These are the original people of Asia. This right here. The Black Asians, Black Indians from India, Black Indians here in the Americas. So I'm gonna get into some of these comments, man. Man, I know some good comments in this motherfucker, man. I already know it. I can feel it. All right, Johnny Robinson said he spoke up on Roy from Lancaster and his wife unaliving that black girl, Latasha Harlan. If we positively know that Roy is actually married to the woman who did that to that little sister, we should have been shut that motherfucker down, burnt that motherfucker down. Potentially, I got to be careful with what I say. But if we know positively that Roy is married to the woman who unalive, Natasha Harlan, we should never be supporting that business, cuz we been should have did whatever we had to do to send him packing and send him on his way to wherever the fuck he came from. And that's just the truth of the matter. Johnny Robinson say, we in here, yay, and I appreciate the continued support. Johnny Robinson says, shout out cartoon. Soy tu padre 909 said 2 words, Natasha Harlan. Soy tu padre 909 say, okay, Peter Liang Den. RBG Boxing say, let's not act like the Mexicans don't say the same thing. Re-rob them. Now, it was different with the Mexicans. The Mexicans woke up one day and just said, you know what, fuck blacks. We politic. Especially when more Mexican women start having an interest in black males. They said, no, child, that's fool. Man, that's my fucking elementary school love, dog. And she like a fucking mayate, man. Fuck that vato. When they women start choosing up, they wasn't with that. So the situation with the Mexicans is a little bit more. It's a different type of relationship. All that robbing and them say, oh, they used to rob us and they used to do this and do that to us in the county. That's a motherfucking lie. We had harmonious relationships with the Mexicans as well. But the Mexicans, similar to the Asians, has always been indoctrinated that blacks is this, blacks is that. The darker complected Mexicans are less than us. The lighter you are as a Mexican, the whiter you are as a Mexican. The more white you look, the more right you look. And that's their philosophies. That's their indoctrination. But the situation with us and the Asians was slightly different. You know what I mean? Even to this day, the relationship between us and most Asians is slightly different. More Asians show me love than Hispanic, than the Mexicans show me love. We can't pretend to deny that. Have you ever been to a Mexican beauty salon? Ain't no niggas in there. When the Mexicans own and operate the beauty salon, they don't hire niggas. The Asians do. You ever been to a Chinese food place where it's black people's working? I have. I have never been to a taqueria, a Mexican restaurant where there's black people working, where they employ black people. Never. The relationship is slightly different, and we got to be specific about what ethnic group of Asians are we talking about. All right, RBG Boxing say, let's not act like the Mexicans don't say the same thing. We robbed them, LOL. Mookie Moore says, in Long Beach, we good with the Asian community. No problem here, Crip Crazy. I can dig it. And I appreciate that we got an individual from Long Beach that's speaking from his experience with the Asian community. RBG Boxing say, Asians in Long Beach are Cambodia and not same as Korean. I'm very familiar with that, but I appreciate you putting it out there for the individuals who don't know, because I have made it specific that a lot of Chinese, Koreans, and Japanese, they really don't rock with the blacks. That's a known fact. But there was a time where they fucked with us, but they fell the victim to the indoctrination and us playing into the stereotypes that the white folks told them, forewarned them about in regards to us. And they just choose not to fuck with us. But now let's look at the Chinese, Korean, and Japanese communities. Most of them come from affluent communities. The Cambodians, the Vietnamese, the Thai people, the Saipanese, the people from Guam, the people from the Philippines, they share damn near the same communities as us. They face the same racism and same prejudice that we face from the Koreans, the Japanese, and the Chinese. So that's why I'm saying we have to be specific about what Asian group are we talking about, because not all Asians don't fuck with us. All right, RBG Boxing say, you are wrong as fuck. How so? If I'm wrong, then tell me how I'm wrong. Snipe says, Hawa. Haya. Oh, I think he was talking about what Toon said. RBG Boxing says, Cartoon responded to an Asian woman admitting the anti-black bigotry. You, Bobby, are creating division. How the fuck am I creating division? How am I creating division? I'm saying that we cool with the Asians. I'm saying that we fuck with the Asians, and specific Asian ethnic groups fuck with us. So how am I wrong? I'm wrong. I ain't got on here and use derogatory or racial verbiage to describe them. So how am I wrong in creating division? But you're entitled to your opinion. But for sure. Big Tom Johnson, Johnny, what's the deal? Much love and respect. He say, what's the deal? Yeah, yo, man, chilling. My first prison riot was against the Asians, to keep it real. Okay, I can dig it. I'm not saying that we are, as a blood, I'm pretty sure you may have been in the prison riot with Crips. The Hub and Dub, they've been in prison riots with the neighborhoods. Just because we didn't have a disagreement that resulted in a riot, that don't mean that they are our enemies and we are their enemies. I don't know, just my opinion. Bobby Ye ranting and babbling, shucking and jiving. Shucking. Wait, hold on. Am I creating division or am I shucking and jiving? RBG boxing? Let me know. Johnny Robinson say, my personal experience, the Asians only fuck with us for the money. They think money is like liquid to us. It runs through our hands like water. OFC, they will act like they like us to get the money that we spend. Should we do the same thing to one another? Us blacks and the Asians had to stick together to deal with these Mexicans over time. Johnny Big Tom Johnson says, Vietnamese homies. Johnny Robinson said, facts. Yeah, I think every other race fear us because we are the closest thing to God. And I agree with you on that. Johnny Robinson say, to be honest, how can we expect any other race to side with us when we are our own worst enemy? That's all I'm saying, bro. When we give them positive demonstrations that's rooted in positivity or rooted in solidarity, because a lot of our demonstrations ain't positive. Sometimes we just got to get gangster and show some motherfuckers we capable of fucking some shit up. They follow those demonstrations. When we create things that has relevance to it, they follow that demonstration. When we go into our own communities and target one another, fuck up our own communities, disrespect our own women and children, they don't participate in that. These is people that still have strong family values, that still have that still have strong community ties. So you can't blame them for not following us because we jumping off the side of a fucking cliff. Let's get back into the comments. Anna B says he sound country. Yeah, he from Alabama. He from South Central, but he moved to Alabama. He has to stop classifying people. Anna B says he can only speak for himself for his experience. Frank Nitty says salute. Mo's TV said what's happening there. Frank Nitty say Johnny Robinson true. Johnny Robinson say what's up, Frank Nitty. Let me see. We can't forget Latasha Harlan. I agree with you. We can't forget Natasha Harlan, and we have not forgotten Natasha Harlan. But that was one individual that did to that sister. They didn't have a congregation and they said, you know what? We're going to start killing blacks. The Hispanics did. The Mexicans did. I got footage of it. I didn't upload it and I didn't show the individual. The Asian community ain't do that. And like I say, the Japanese, most of the Japanese, the Chinese, and the Koreans, they don't fuck with us. But we can't punish all Asians because the top three, the ones that they consider to be the superior Asian groups, don't fuck with us. We can't punish and ostracize all Asians because some of us still to this day fuck with us. It's easy for other races to hate us when we are taught to hate ourselves. That's all I'm saying, man. Freedom Boulevard says, what up, brother Bobby? Man, super cool like a deep freezer. That's deep. The Viet Cong were revolutionary. HB, happy birthday, Stokey Carmichael. They said, Mo's TV says, they said black men go home in Vietnam. They made pamphlets. This is the truth. They didn't want to unalive us. But we wanted to serve the government and thinking that we was going to get preferential treatment and thinking that we was going to get some form of equality from the government. And when we came back, niggas was homeless. Niggas couldn't even buy themselves homes, hamburgers, and all the, like, come on, man. If we're going to speak the facts, let's speak the facts. Belt to ass say Chinese didn't build the railroads, Goofy. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take that Goofy. I'm gonna take that slight insult from you. I ain't gonna even put belt to your ass and make you feel real insignificant and stupid. I'm gonna take that. Because you may be right, you may be wrong. The first transcontinental railroad in the U.S. were built primarily by immigrant laborers, including Chinese, Irish workers, alongside Black Americans. Nigga, shut your bitch ass up and get your hoe ass off my broadcast, you bitch ass nigga. You wrong, nigga. You gonna come over here and try to call me out. So yeah, now I'm gonna cuss your bitch ass out and make you feel real insignificant, you bitch ass nigga. You man trapped in a woman body ass nigga. Man, get your stupid ass out of here, you fucking transvestite, you dick sucking hermaphrodite, pussy ass nigga. Get your stupid ass out of here, nigga. Nigga, know what the fuck you talking about before you be talking about that shit that you try to come on here talking about, calling niggas goofies. If you had said, hey, big bro, I think you wrong, I don't think it was the Chineses, I wouldn't even be giving you this type of disrespect, my nigga. But get your bitch ass out of here. I'm gonna let your bitch ass stay around. I ain't gonna even block you. Because one day you're gonna learn something, you stupid motherfucker. Let's get back to the content. I mean the comments. Forgive me, man. It's hot as a motherfucker. I gotta cut on that AC. Look what this bitch ass nigga say. We don't have a relationship. Stop lying. You's a bitch ass nigga. I don't know where you from, what community, what side of town you from, but clearly you don't get out and you don't venture out. You probably the type of nigga to stay in your community, stay in your city, never travel, never been around, never had to intermingle with individuals, never had a business conversation. Man, shut your stupid ass up out of here. This bitch ass nigga say the Hispanics are at the bottom and the ICE raids expose that. You's an ignorant motherfucker. If you make one more ignorant ass comment, I'm gonna get your bitch ass up out of here, bro. Johnny Robinson say that's every race though. They will hate us but bite our culture, most definitely. When we putting out something of substance, they emulate it. If we stop unaliving each other, if we stop brutalizing each other, and we put forth a solid demonstration of what unity is, what self-sufficiency is, everybody will emulate that shit. They'll stop following a white man and they'll start following us. But we're underachieving. We're not doing anything of significance at this present moment in time. But beefing with each other, and that ain't significant. That's insignificant as a motherfucker. Freedom Boulevard said, let's not forget they deconstruction everything they come into contact with and replicate. Okay. White people also emulate us and protest. What is your point? Also Mexicans. Pardon my spelling is pardon. Frank Nitty say, keep it real. The Korean guy that owned the liquor store by where I used to live was racist as hell. He used to make money from the little kids and everything. The homies ended up unaliving him. And if he was racist and he was disrespecting the community and the little kids, I don't sympathize with him. He got what he got. He got what he had coming to him. But the Koreans and the community where I come from and watch, they get a homies jobs. They allow the homies to say whether or not the Hispanics should be working in that community store. And, you know, we're compassionate, understanding people. The homies say, yeah, let's hire some Hispanics. But we don't have that type of relationship. And I feel like the relationship that we have with Asians depends on what your geographical location is. I'm going to say this for part 2. I'm going to read some more comments, but I'm going to double back and we're going to do a part 3 or part whatever part. That's called being a colonizer, is what Belter asked. Say Freedom Boulevard said, yes, you agree they don't mess with us. Most of them don't. And it depends on which ethnic group of Asians are we talking about. We can't generalize and say all Asians hate blacks. We can't generalize and say all Asians don't fuck with blacks. That's some bullshit. It was an American Most Wanted. We haven't produced anything for ourselves, but we produce culture for the world. That's what Johnny Robinson say. Freedom Boulevard says they also persecute their own people if it is just not monitored, as we are the most watched on the planet, brother. Cambodians and Thai do mess with us. That's all I'm saying. Certain ethnic groups that consider themselves to be Asian fuck with us, and we have a good relationship with them. We can't make these broad generalizations and make it seem like all Asians don't fuck with us, bro. I have amazing relationships with Asians. Some Asians, when I'm down bad, if I need a favor to, hey, what's up, Ken folks? Man, look, this is what it is. All right, for sure, yay, I got you. A lot of my people I can't do that with, but it's Asians that love us and love me as an individual to where, you know, they don't mind blessing me if I am ever in need of a blessing. Built to ass say, Ye is capping way too hard for the Asians. That's typical for LA cats to do. What the fuck is wrong with this little nigga, man? This gotta be a little nigga. This is a little kid. I guarantee this nigga's under 35 years old talking the way that he talking. But I'm gonna give you some compassion. I'm gonna give you some understanding, and I'm not gonna even cuss you out no more because I'm coming from a place to where I feel sorry for you. It's all good. Bella Boo Kitty says, "Is this pre-recorded?" No, ma'am. This isn't pre-recorded. This is live and direct. Freedom Boulevard says, "So are you saying black people have no value or produce anything? Is it a broad generalization then?" I'm gonna let you answer that. Do you feel like you have value as a black man? Do you feel like you have value? And that's what your answer is going to be. That's what your answer is going to be. Do we have value, man? We the cream of the crop. We are universal people. Everything that we do is replicated, but it's no value in us unaliving each other. It's no value in us degrading our women. It's no value in us misguiding our kids. It's no value in us staying in the projects for 5 and 6, 7 generations. It's no value in us being so dependent upon the United States government. It's no value in us being dependent on SSI, AFDC, Medicaid, dependent upon TANF. And we're living on government aid for generations upon generations. You think that's some valuable shit, my nigga? You think that's cool? That we don't own too much property, but we love getting on Section 8 and stand on Section 8 until our grandmama, our aunties, our cousins, our kinfolks die? You feel like that's valuable, my nigga? See, a lot of you niggas want to come on here and have a battle with wits, but you niggas are unarmed. You niggas ain't have you niggas don't have the experience. You niggas don't have the hours upon hours of studying. You niggas don't even have the experience. And I be trying to be compassionate, understanding, empathetic, and all that type of shit. But some of these niggas, man, I'm gonna have to start putting belt to ass. I never said us as a people don't have value. That's not what I said. Johnny Robbins say Filipinos definitely fuck with us. They women love the black man, and this is some real shit too. Shout out to my Filipinos, my Cambodians, and all the Asian ethnic groups that rock with us. Mo's TV Reloaded said no, it's live. Bella Boo Kitty said the way they treat black people is in a lot of movies. What about the movies where they treat black people amazingly? What about the movies where they replicating and imitating and emulating our culture? What about those movies? If we're gonna use movies, see, we can use movies or we can use experience. I'm talking from my experience with these people. And then we got to understand which ethnic group of Asians are we talking about. The Koreans who own most of these nail salons that the sisters run to, and the males, the Asian males disrespect them. The Asian women disrespect them. Why the fuck is you still spending your money with these people? You have to know who you're dealing with. You got to be able to make a distinction in between these different Asian groups and understand that Koreans, Japanese, and Chinese those is the ones who really don't fuck with blacks. Most of them don't fuck with blacks. They look down on us, but they look down on their own people. They look down on other Asians, especially the darker complected ones, as part of their indoctrination from the colonizers. Beltaz says the poor black community produce nothing. The black middle class and the rich class are producers, fam. Use a motherfucking lie, you dumb. I'm gonna chill out on that one. The GD Network says, LOL, shaking my head. Freedom Boulevard says, so we have to dispel generations of white indoctrination. It's absolutely necessary for us to dispel generations of white indoctrination. We have to unlearn the things that we learned by their institutions of education, the educational institutions. We got to unlearn that shit. We got to do away with it. It's counterproductive, and like my partner say, it's counter-revolutionary. They are correct for the most part. That's stereotypes, though, mostly. It's our job to do this as much as we